build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
I'm Colin from Longbangers.
I never said to the Longbangers from Longbangers there. I thought about it and then...
From the Longbangers stable of podcasts.
Aye, from one of many podcasts. Shall we see what we're going to do on that, or will we keep it to a later date?
Nah, just keep it till there.
Aye,
the focus
right.
on it's an April Fool.
Aye, that's true. We did do a wee April Fool that they said we were going to do a Hearts podcast as well. I liked the name I came up with it, which was Face Palmers. Right, we've got tons to get through. Right, obviously the game was fucking shite yesterday. We've just recorded the match column where we talked through the actual main incidents in the game. And I think as we go through the talking points, because there are a load of them, we'll probably find that we cover quite a lot of the stuff that made us annoyed yesterday. So let's get straight into it. The first one we've got is from Ross Grieve. Does Lee Johnson need a new selection tombola?
Aye, it's funny, yeah. Like we've sort of praised it when it's been consistency of selection. The Rangers and Celtic games obviously they fuck us up, and we always get them together, and then we go and do a different route, and then we're back to like that no identity. You know what I mean? Like, what's the team again?
Johnson said that yesterday. Johnson called it out for having not been able to see the identity in it yesterday. Huh?
No, right. Oh, I've not heard them. Didn't listen.
No. He said they were going to do black box thinking on it.
Did he? You read that book?
No.
Matthew Syed.
Is it? So
it's about continuous improvement.
I knew what it would mean, because obviously your black box record is what they look for when a plane crashes, isn't it? They go and find out everything that's happened, analyse it, and see what they could have learned to make it better.
Aye. Model. Aye.
Well, black box thinking on the defeat yesterday. That's happened. He also said that some of the players have given him a headache about how to pick them next week because they were so bad, pretty much.
We've not got any players left. You just play the laddies then. Like, we'll come back to the strategy. Yeah.
The strategy. It's a good point that he made, because when we had a fairly settled team, when we were playing pretty well, and the system, so we had the back four, we had Jago and Egan Riley as the two sort of sitting midfielders. Do you think it's an issue that as players come back fit, Johnson feels he's got to then adjust the team to accommodate them, rather than just sort of saying, you need to fucking wait your turn?
It looks like it, eh? No, it's a good point. I think you're probably not hitting the nail on the head, aye. Although he never put Newell straight in, did he? But on the basis of the performance, he now will be, because he was the only one that could, like, he was dictating the game, wasn't he, when he was on, really? Like, out from midfield, he was picking the ball and he was getting it out to where the space was, because there's so much space on the left side, and you're like, just get out of there. He was the only one that seemed to be able to do it, or willing.
Aye, basically, you could take it by a man and then pick a pass, and Newell was just kind of picking the ball up in good areas. But I think it's an issue. I think it was an issue when we went on the last bad run, because he was trying to accommodate Hanlon, Rocky, and Pochis, and change the shape of the defence to do that, and it didn't really work. And I think there you've got Doyle Hayes coming back in, and even obviously had to change it up front because Yuan was suspended. But I didn't think Nisbet and Hoppe really worked as a front two at all.
He's really shown much, eh?
Nah. I mean, had that goal that we never saw when we were at Hospitality against Kilmarnock, but other than that,
he did that quite well. Like that.
Yeah,
still,
but then he missed one in the same game, didn't he? Like a similar sort of chance. On the subject of that, Beezer James said Hoppe and Marsh awful today. In fact, the whole lot were woeful, flat, uninspiring, and the ref was shocking. Gave us nothing. So we spoke about Marshall in the match, and it seems like that conversation's coming up a bit more these days, isn't it? About whether or not Marshall's as good as we initially thought he was at the start of the season. What are your views? Do we need a new goalkeeper for next season?
Yeah, I think we do. Unfortunately, I was hoping, as I said, and I think I said it earlier on there, I had hoped and expected he was going to be our player of the year this year, be the difference, like what Patrick Gordon has been there. And he's just not been. And I think we got away with it earlier in the year, because the big complaint in the last couple of goalies has been distribution rather than like how many they save and stuff. And and the distribution was like good, really good. Although recently that's faltered as well, and then his stats just didn't. His stats just didn't show. And I know I disagree with stats all the time and say they're a waste of time, but what do you do? Like we said about the XG and all that last year, that was the one that done for the last keeper because he only let in as many as he was expected to. I think this year we're worse, or we were at one point recently worse than that. His save percentage has been lower than the last couple of keepers. What stat can I use to? Because I'm not using distribution as a stat. Like it's just I want my goalies to be saving shots and that.
I think you have where you use stats is to back up or question what your eyes are telling you, isn't it? It's like what's your eyes and your gut saying when you're looking at somebody, and do the stats back that up or do they give you a different story? And I think that now with Marshall, the stats and what we're watching are telling us the same thing, that there's an issue there. And I mean,
everybody gets old, everybody gets done. I think he's just like you're saying. You said he's gone down in instalments. I think both the penalties and I know they're penalties, and the goalie's probably, I don't know what the percentage rate of save a penalty is, but he's went the right way. He's actually fucking stopped the ball, and he's just let it roll under him both times. It's because he's gone down too slow, like that free kick as well, because he's just like no got that agility
the spring or whatever.
Spring anymore. He's going the right way. He's just no quick enough to.
Is that not just gravity though? When you fought at the side,
is it not how far you throw yourself at?
Is it the spring of your legs that's making the difference there?
But we say go down in instalments, like some goalies didn't, but he never always went down in instalments. So it must be something slowing them down.
And
gravity's not changed. Don't think.
No, it hasn't.
Despite what the stats might say.
The ref. What did you think about the ref yesterday, Colin? Before I just going to caveat any conversation we have about the ref, we're not saying the referee was why we lost the game, because I think it's fucking 100% no the referee's fault that Hibs lost the game yesterday. We could talk about his performance without us making excuses for any of the Hibs players.
Tall, and his socks were really high, like he looked like that was the one thing I noticed. Because a lot of referees aren't that tall. Like, and I wonder if that's where they get the small sort of man.
That definitely. They probably aren't something there.
Jump the shoulder sort of style stuff. Apologies to any referees that listen, but
or wee people.
Although not every wee person has small man syndrome.
No.
So
some are women.
I can't get anything you really got. I can't even think of anything that like I can really complain about. I mean, again, you said the free kick against Fish was soft. It probably was soft. You could argue for a Marshall red card. They didn't give it. The high foot for Doyle Hayes. They gave a yellow. I can't think. Was it one of the ones where there was a lot of niggly ones that everybody, we spoke about before? It's like there's no major decision there. But there's maybe a lot of ones you go, that was your throw-in and he never gave us it.
I think it was that category, Colin. So I was looking at the big decisions in the game, right? So the free kick for Motherwell's goal, 100% free kick, right? No arguments there. I would have argued about Fish's one, but I could also see why it's given, right? And I've tried as best I can to give referees the benefit of the doubt in these ones.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And then there was a question about the handball for the corner that led to their second goal, right? Because it's a clear handball on Van Veen and he's missed it. Yeah. And going back to the point I made on the match, if Van Veen had scored in that moment, that gets called back for a free kick to Hibs. There's no way that goal stands. So that's maybe a major decision, although it's like indirectly because it went out for a corner and actually did.
And then VAR checked for a handball.
Aye. But there was loads. So we talked about Josh Campbell getting frustrated. The reason Campbell was getting frustrated, he got kicked up and down and got nothing for the ref. He got one free kick in the corner up at the famous 5 end, and he went to give the referee a wee clap, and actually he just went to do it, and the referee was like, "Didn't fucking start," and he stopped because he would have picked up a booking. It was like that sort of sarcastic clap that was good, but there was one. So we talked about a high foot. There was a high foot in front of us that he gave Motherwell a throw-in for.
I remember that.
And you're going, well, that's a free kick to Hibs. And a few of the players coming behind, like what happened with Fish and I can't remember the forward he was up against. Was it Van Veen that got fouled for that?
Do you know, it's all coming back to me that now. apologies for my answer then, because I do remember all these wee ones. And do you know what? Like I said to my brother-in-law and my daughter when we were watching it, says that's what we get for
Having a go.
complaining about the refs.
Aye.
That's what they do.
Aye.
To us, when we moan about the refs, they go, fuck them. We'll give even less then. Every
Aye.
50-50 goes the other way. Every 50-50 becomes a 40-60.
Aye.
And that's what I said at the time. That's what I said during the game, and that's what it felt like. But there was nothing there that changed the course of the game or anything. But it's niggly and it's annoying.
Aye, and I'd probably echo that. We had the same chat up in our seats as well. As like that, all seem we had a complaint about it last game because we got fuck all. Really,
Goes the other way, yeah.
Aye.
Say Rangers and Celtic, they start getting all this stuff. Like after they have a wee moan about it, and then we media it, it goes the other way. And you go, how's this what? Do we need to start tanning windies? What do we need to do?
Not that we condone that behaviour, but
No.
it's
depends who does it. If I condone it or otherwise.
Aye, we're not calling for folk to start doorstepping referees, but it's going to get to that stage, yeah. If the fuckers don't buck up
Too
their
far to
ideas.
go, eh? Because every referee's in fucking Glasgow.
Aye, that's it.
It's easier for them.
Aye. Our HFC said we'd like to hear your thoughts on the goalkeeper position going into next season. Marshall was proving he's past it today. Also, would like your opinion on the starting 11 today. Personally, I think Hoppe and JDH starting were poor decisions. So we've covered the goalkeeper already. The starting 11, I know we sort of touched on it there about the fitting new players in, but I'm interested in your thoughts, Colin. Hoppe has not looked anywhere close to the player that Kukovic is, but he started them.
No, Nisbet started away.
Aye.
No, I know. So I was a bit surprised at that, if anything, but then I thought, oh, Kukovic been injured, maybe he's still coming back. But Doyle Hayes got rave reviews against Celtic as well. You know, he had a good game, so I can kind of see why he started as well. So I wasn't complaining about it before the game. I get it, it's easy with hindsight in that, and but the whole team was shocking yesterday. You could go through every one of them and say, like, I don't think there was any pass marks. There was nobody above 5 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd agree. I think Doyle Hayes, because he had that game against Celtic, but I think yesterday was a good example of the problem that you have with Jake Doyle. He's a decent enough player, but I'm not sure exactly what he brings to the table. Like he's kind of quite neat and tidy, but doesn't help us going forward. And defensively, he didn't even help us that much defensively yesterday. And I know that it was on his own because you could look at a number of players, as you said, that didn't hit pass marks. Even your reliable players like Stevenson had a shite game yesterday as well. And normally, Stevenson will play and you'll get like 7 out of 10. Aye, and nowhere near it. Ryan Morrison says he's got a few points here. Marshall passed it. McCurdy, no idea what he's meant to be. Hoppe, pish. JDH, pish. Jago, stopgap that can't pass a football. And manager who can't pick a team properly or can how to make correct subs.
Yeah, I can't relate. I mean, the Jago one, I don't disagree with any of them really. I mean, the Jago one, I think you give. That's one of them where you're going. You need somebody beside him that can. Like, so maybe when Newell was there, he was more effective because you just had to win it and get to Newell to pass it. But when you had Doyle Hayes there, then Doyle Hayes isn't. I don't think he's the player that Newell is.
Aye.
Personally, I know that a lot of folk disagree with me on that. But I think you can't maybe play Doyle Hayes with Jago because he's not going to make up for that lack of passing ability.
Aye, I think I described Jago's performance yesterday as everything he touched turned to shite. Like it just, it was like basic passes. I think like what really frustrated me yesterday, Colin, and it wasn't just Jago, it was Doyle Hayes and Campbell and all sorts. Simple passes were misplaced or passed out of the park, and there was one we were breaking, and I think it was Doyle Hayes that received the ball, and Jago that passed it to him. It needed a pass for Doyle Hayes to run on it because we were coming forward. And he played it to the position he was in. So Doyle Hayes had to stand and wait on the ball coming at him.
Aye.
By which point, other players are flooding back. And you go, that's it's a completed pass. Like, so on the stats, it go, right, completed pass, tick. Fucking shite. Like,
basic stuff.
Really, really bad. Really bad pass. And actually, my old man pointed out at one point, we were bombing forward, and I think it was Cadden that was going down the right. Josh Campbell sprinting back towards the goal, past him. And he goes, we're fucking attacking here, what you... It was all wrong.
It seemed quite a negative defensive lineup though. You play three at the back and you play two defensive. I know Dudley says he prefers being a 10 in that. I've never seen anything like that for him. Other than 2 goals that game that day. To suggest he was a 10. So you're thinking, why are we playing 3 at the back with 2 defensive midfielders in front of you?
Aye. And then McCurdy. So McCurdy gets shunted out to the wing every time he plays. I would contend that he's not a winger. Like, for what I've seen him, he's no... I think he puts him out there.
Yeah. I've not seen anything. As I said to you recently, that you've kind of said a couple of times that mentioned McCurdy's name in the conversation, and I've went, he's not getting the game ahead of any of the other 3 for me. And Hopper's dropped in that list rapidly as well. Like, you know, so I don't know if he's was he a through the middle guy at Swindon, was he?
I think he played more central, but he said he could play it across the front 3. I think that was one of the things when we signed him that they said that they liked about it. I wonder though, like if we're suffering for McGeady being injured, and you're seeing players going out wide, aren't sort of natural wide players, like Hoppy looked like a fish out of water yesterday, and he was having to play wide. So it wasn't even like a proper front 2 that we had, because Hoppy was going out almost to the touchline, kind of if he was meant to try and make the pitch big or whatever, but he was picking up the ball in wide areas and just losing it all the time. And then McCurdy went out, and it looked like folk did it past him a lot of the time as well. Again, they did the thing where he was running and he needed the ball to go into space in front of him, and they play it behind him, so he'd have to stop him. But then he's facing up a defender right away rather than getting in behind them. Parmaham 2 says now look like we might not even make the top 6.
Well, we're still in the top 6, like at the moment. It doesn't. It's not exactly. I know Livingston are a point behind us, but their run's probably worse than us. So, like it doesn't look like that. We're in a fight for it, but wouldn't they say we're in free fall there compared to us?
Do you think third's gone?
Well, I said last week on the extra time, I think, like I was expecting, we need to beat Motherwell to get third, and we've not. So I think it is, because results like that, performances like that, say we've not got it in us. But mathematically, of course, no, because Hibs got beat, which I didn't also expect. I thought I think I suggested maybe a draw through there, but so them losing has kept us in it. Although I think it's Aberdeen's now more than ours.
But I mean, Aberdeen have still. I think they're the only team.
We almost dismissed Aberdeen. I mean, we did count them in it, but it was like the race against Hearts for third, and they've just spent a fucking point behind them.
They've got Rangers before the split. Which I think is the one where they're likely to slip up, aren't they?
It's at home, though, isn't it?
But even then, I mean, Aberdeen are shy against
the Glasgow teams. But they've all got a better. But if you always fancy yourself, if you're playing one of those firms, Rangers at home, you would pick.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, they might get something for it because they're in good form. But I can't see it. Rangers' form's better than Aberdeen's. They seem to be just fucking churning out wins relentlessly now. It's funny because you looked at it, and if you'd said, well, if we both lost and you still 5 points, you've got a chance. Still.
You're saying that they've got Rangers. They'll be gone, but they've got to play each other.
Aye, definitely.
So
definitely, you're right.
There, doesn't it? Yeah. They'll be going to get a draw in that game, and then that's that. So anyway, I think we've fucked it. To be quite honest with you, it's another. It's one of them at the end of the season. We'll sit down and we'll go, we should have won at Ross County. We should have done that. We've chucked in one of the performances that like we used to bang on about when Jack Ross was the manager. Although we did finish third. Hamilton, Motherwell. Who was it?
Ross County. Aye, and Livingston. I think were the two.
Livingston, so it was.
But we can't have another performance like that. Because if we play like that again, because we're at the business end of the season for the split, I think if we drop out of the top 6, we're going to struggle to get back in it because we've got Hearts, and then our last one was St Johnstone, wasn't it? Before the so Dundee United on Sunday, which again is now must win. Like yesterday was must win for us to get third, and we didn't do it. So I think it's gone. like you say, mathematically, it's not a thing. Yesterday's probably a big hit to the confidence for the team as well. And you've got the fucking Streaky Lee stuff as well.
That's a resurfacing, isn't it?
Aye. Which is a worry. Graham Whiteman said, why is there no backbone in our squad? Do they not get sick of having their bellies tickled?
There's backbone in me, isn't it? That's the thing. It's one of them. It's like we've lost the game. Like we've lost 3, but 2 of them are Rangers Celtic. You're kind of almost expected to lose them. Well, I go in expecting to lose the games, right? But I know that it's big game stuff, so like we do use it as a measure at times. But we do have backbone. We just didn't have any yesterday.
Aye, I think that's it's evident for the players that are missing. I don't know, because yesterday you needed somebody in there that can take the game by the scruff of the neck, and it wasn't until Newell came on that we had that.
I was really disappointed, and I don't know if everybody's mentioned it. Like, see Nisbet yesterday, he looked like he couldn't.
Shite. I mean, his goal was good.
He was just huffing about. It was a good header, like, but he was huffing about. He was fucking moaning and pointing. You know, it was like sort of Derek Riordan without like the screamer. How would then go and score? You know, like they days when the arms are going up and that, like looking like I can't be fucked for this. That's what it looked like for him.
Aye, he was going down loads as well. Any touch was going down and then fucking moaning at the referee for the free kick. And a lot of the time, I think it wasn't the bunny free kicks. Aye, wasn't impressed with Nisbet. Goal aside, because he took that fantastically well. Chief Brody says McGeady, Yuan, and Boyle being out leaves us struggling to create anything.
Yeah, I didn't really create much yesterday. I mean, really, we resorted to just sort of long diagonals into the box. Like the goal came for that, and then Newell, I think 1 or 2 as well later on.
Aye.
It's not like we're going, oh, fuck it, threw that away.
No, I mean,
1 goal, one save, and 1 goal was got yesterday.
Aye.
I don't know what the other stats are saying, but I can't remember shots. Oh, the McCurdy shot, but that was past the post, so it wouldn't even count as a non-target.
Not even on target.
You know, it's there wasn't much creation at all, really.
We looked like we were devoid of ideas. I think Kukorevic helped when he came on. He was dropping a bit deeper and linking up quite well, and he was causing them a bit of bother. Remember Kukorevic and McCurdy and Nisbet was still on at that point, I think, wasn't he? Even then, even with your creative players, it was like having somebody unlock the defence was missing, or having the pace. Like Yuan's pace causes problems, but Motherwell were dead comfortable. I mean, they could push players forward and kind of pin us in our own half. Kenning that we had the outball, it was just kind of going forward and then coming straight back at us again. Definitely missed those players. Gordon said Marshall's past it, great distribution, but has no agility and the reactions of an old man. That's based on previous viewings and all, by the way. Also, our work off the ball was non-existent. No press, no looking for space for the pass, lack of work ethic in general. See that last paragraph there, Colin? So work off the ball, non-existent, no press, no looking for space, and lack of work ethic in general. What are your views on that?
I did think it looked a bit lazy yesterday, and you know, I didn't really understand the press thing. I get it, what it means, but then there was at one point yesterday my daughter said, "He's not pressing him," right? And I went, "Oh, maybe that's like the plan, though, because sometimes you leave a defender with the ball because he's shite at football."
Aye.
But maybe that's what. So she said it during the game, like, and I'm going, I don't know, maybe sometimes you do. I mean, they used to leave Darren McGregor with the ball, didn't they? Like,
Aye.
so the handling or Fontaine or something didn't get it because you think, well, I'd rather he was the one punting the diagonal than somebody that could, like, because he'll only ping 3 out of 10, handling will be 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? So you expose that, and I don't know if that's what we were trying or if we were just being lazy. But I'm willing to accept that it didn't look like we were a high press, fast flowing attacking football team yesterday in any way.
No, miles off it. I think I had that criticism the first game at Easter Road against Celtic, where we ball watched and Celtic just ran around us like the whole game. It was like they were playing training cones, and I thought Motherwell worked harder than us yesterday. Like I thought that was evident for the word go. Yeah. They just looked more up for it. They won every second ball. first ball was
So
generally a
frustrating, eh?
Motherwell player that won it. Yeah,
Because I said last week on the subscriber episode that they're effectively playing for the 7th place cup,
Mhm.
and although I think they can actually mathematically catch us as well, but they're playing for that. We're playing for 3rd place, like European riches, fucking good holidays. Good
Aye.
holidays in September and that. September and October. That's what we're playing for. Like proper things. They're playing for fuck all. And they had Mayor. They were fighting. They were playing for Mayor yesterday on the
Aye.
pitch.
Aye.
Mad.
It's just mental. And they also, I think, their win yesterday meant it's a clean sweep in the league. Every team's beat us this season,
Right enough.
which is pretty embarrassing too. It's not a record that you want.
No.
Alan Neil Duncan said, "I'd rather not think or talk about that absolute horror show today."
Stinning it.
Can't blame you, Alan. Can't blame you. DJ1875 said, so disappointed, stroke angry after that performance, but stepping back, think the ridiculous Yuan sending off didn't only impact us at Parkhead, but also today.
Aye, possibly. Do you think that would have made a massive difference yesterday?
I think Yuan would have made a difference if he played. Because go back to what we were just saying there about having that out ball and having the pace that can go and trouble somebody. The other thing that Yuan does that we didn't have yesterday was he could take the ball and run and like face up to a player one-on-one and try to beat them. Yesterday with
problems.
The strikers were picking up the ball with the back to goal and losing it straight away. And it was just coming back to us. So I think there's probably merit in that argument that we definitely felt the impact. Do you think the same impact was felt with Johnson's red card or yellow card? You know that he was suspended, so he was up in the stand. I think he mentioned that he didn't feel he could influence the game the same way that he normally would.
I think that's a lot of shite. Like I do. I just think that's pish. He even said he got a better view up there. Like, why you fucking sit every week then? Like, mad.
Because he wasn't allowed in. I think they allowed in
the
dressing room before the game, and
so that's important. More important.
And at half time they can't go in either, can I?
Nah. So that is more important than the standing in the dugout in my eyes. Like I think, mind when Lennon used to get sent up to the stand, he just sat in the row A, double A, to the west stand, and just shouted in the odds. But he gets better view. I think he might have done it.
I know. We spoke about it before. That's what the rugby used to do.
They sit up in the stand. They didn't even sit in the stand with the fans. They sit in a fucking wee box. They've got the telly and the laptops and they go. And they can rewind shit and look at stuff there and then right away. Look at like defensive lines and all that kind of stuff and go, right, fucking change that. They just fucking radio it down.
Aye. Are you allowed to? Could they set up a Zoom? Or had a big fucking screen in the dressing room?
I don't see how, no, but I don't know what the rules are.
Anyway, right. Chew My Cabbage, she's got a decent username, said, why does LJ keep fucking around with the formation and the starting lineup?
Who knows, man? Who knows? I think it's like you suggested earlier, it might have been on the match that all these players come back and he's like, well, maybe need to get him in the team. It's like they'll be getting changed next week when Ewan comes back. It's only one match ban he's got,
No, I think it was just one game.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. It's only one.
Aye. Sorry, I thought you said another match ban.
That'll just be a one. I think. So he'll be, unless he's picked up more bookings and all that stuff, but he'll be back for the Dundee United games. The team, well, the team would be getting cheese next week anyway. There's no fucking doubt about
that. Hi, it's frustrating. We spoke about it before, no changing the winning team, and I suppose there's a bigger argument to change when the team's lost. You wouldn't keep that team for next week, though. I mean, there's fucking no danger. If Lee Johnson set up with that team against Dundee United, to get fucking slaughtered for it, and probably rightly so. Stephen Watson said, LJ is so quick to make changes to the starting lineup that when it doesn't work, he's too slow to change during the match.
They changed the formation during the match quite early, but I think he doesn't make first half subs now. That is a big sign of failure. Like, although he did he take Hanlon off?
Was it not against Rangers in the 2-2?
Like the second game of the season or something?
Aye.
Since then, though, he's beat to half time. Or even that, I mean, it's not even always. He did half time yesterday, but even like,
it's just
not that often, it's half time subs. And I think yesterday was just because Dudley was on a booking, probably. Because he could have subbed them all. He could have the 5 subs at half time.
Easy. Do you think like that there's an argument there that when you've got a performance like that and it's so fucking evident that the players are at it, that you're almost there's like a double win in making an early change because you go and say, right, fucking just pick anyone and I'm hook them, because it shows the rest of them that, listen, it could be you. You could have been the one that was coming off after 20 minutes. It's fucking embarrassing, and you're sitting out because you're not performing. It just gives everybody that wee rocket up the arse and freshens things up.
Well, it can work,
Aye.
Of course, if you lose, then it's like tactical failure and lost the dressing room chat. It happens, so it's the risk that you take.
Aye. I expect to hear this stuff soon, by the way.
Anytime soon.
Aye, the dressing room's been lost.
Players on the happy, no enjoying training, attached to the club.
Aye.
All that. It's all coming.
It'll come. Steve McKenzie said, is Streaky Johnson really unfair? Decent start, then running 9 defeats in 11. Then a run of unbeaten games, now 3 defeats in a row. Yes, Old Firm or 2, but you can't be losing to Motherwell. And let's be honest, do people really think the team is good? Most are mediocre.
The team's all right. That's it. That's it. Out the way. That's everybody else isn't that good either. That's why we're in the race, really. I mean, I think the Rangers Celtic thing is kind of clouds a lot, like, because then it helps with the stats, like 3 in a row. Because we always seem to get Rangers Celtic. Bang. And that's not just this, like I say, always, as in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Aye.
It always seems to be Rangers Celtic Hearts, like really quick. It never seems to get spread out every 3 games or every 4th game or anything. Like it's always one after the other.
Does that happen with other teams as well?
They
surely can, or does it? I don't know.
I've never looked into it, but it never feels like we've got them.
Can
we say 3 games apart, 4 games apart, or one in the first game and one in the fucking 8th game? It's like,
aye, you're spot on. I think that's definitely what it feels like. We need to get John on a spreadsheet for it.
Aye,
message him.
You go and check the dates.
Aye, John, go and do us a favour. Go back the last 4 seasons.
Since
we came
like
up. That. Aye.
Because often at Christmas you've got them like quick fire and that as well, and then you've always got Hearts at Christmas or New Year as well, and it's like fucking hell. Like we need to we need to get as many points as we can in the next 8 games because we've got Tynecastle, fucking Ibrox, and then we've got Celtic at home, and it's the last 3. What the fuck's happened again? And then it obviously helps with the statisticians out there that can go fucking lost 3 in a row. You know, it's like fuck I have, but
aye. The only way that Johnson will get rid of the streaky tag is by no having
winning all the time.
You'll not get it for the winning runs. It's the losing ones that gets through the tag. It's like if he was winning all the time, folk just that's good. And it was interspersed with like 1 or 2 defeats, you would go fair dues.
So just lose every now and again rather than every week.
Didn't go in big runs.
Win next week, and then see the streaky one will still last here because it's 3 in a row. But it was Rangers and Celtic. But if we win next week, you could argue it's like one loss, 1 win.
Aye. Tosh just said Marshall. I think we've covered Marshall. Gus Polinsky said he'd be less concerned with the chop and changing the players if LJ kept things simple tactically. 2 or 3 formations where every player is drilled on what their jobs are. As it is, he's changing players and systems weekly. The majority of them look like they've not got no clue what to do.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know how many systems a team would normally practice. I would like to think they've got more than one up their sleeve.
Aye.
Or two up their sleeve, but I don't know, because that was a 3-5-2, and then we went to a 4-3-3 or something.
Or 4-4-2, I think it was.
4-2-4 at one point as well. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good point though. In general, like if I was thinking, you probably want to keep your variables to a minimum as much as possible. So if you're changing system, have consistency in your players, or if you're changing players, have consistency in your system. But when you're doing changes in both of them, then it's going to be hard to get that coherence between all the players and everybody kenning exactly what the jobs are, as Gus is saying there. I think there's
probably a point in there.
I
just don't know how many you would be expected, because you do have to have a plan B and then plan C as well, I guess.
And I suppose that goes back to your football IQ thing that Lee Johnson was talking about as well. Players should kind of know, well, this is my role in this system. If I'm playing slightly in a bit, this is what changes on it. And you'd expect them to be able to own it. Do you have that criticism of the players yesterday? Like it was obvious that it wasn't working, that they didn't figure it out for themselves, how to kind of turn the game around? Do you think it's always on the manager to go and make the change?
It shouldn't be. But that's where the leaders conversation comes from, isn't it?
Aye.
The big personalities in the pitch should be able to change stuff and or motivate during the game, especially when your manager's sitting in the stand.
Because Aussie would just accept it yesterday. That just it's not working, it's not our day, or whatever. There's very little that coming for the pitch that made you think that folk were on top of it.
Yeah.
Right, Paul Mackay. McCurdy, is there any point bringing him on? Possibly the most overrated and over-expected signing in a long, long time. Does McCurdy suffer for the fact that he was that last minute? Is he going to sign or is he no? And everybody got hyped up. In mind, there was the this isn't like a criticism. Down the Slope had the. I mean, it was a great night. I think that they did on Twitter Spaces for that transfer deadline day. Kind of what the fuck is going on at Hibs? Loads of interaction. It was a good night. Everybody really enjoyed it, but it did bring like the unintended side of will he sign or won't he sign? I'm sure I'm in the right transfer window when he.
That's the transfer windows, though. That's the Sky Sports News fucking drama thing.
But because he had that, and it was even it went in the next day where they weren't quite sure if they'd got it done in time. Did that expectation come with, or did that build up an expectation that's weighed too heavy on McCurdy? Do you think?
He weighed too heavy, or maybe he's just not that good. I don't know, or a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's League 2 he came from. Like, I know that we can hype up like Sky can hype up the English leagues all they want, but League 2's not that good, Like, it just isn't it?
Yeah, it's no, you're right.
They paid more money in a lot of cases than you do up here, and obviously not in this case, presumably they wouldn't have came, but in a lot of teams in the league, League 2 pay more money than the Scottish Premier League for probably the bottom 7 or 8 teams in the league. But the standard's not good. Like, if you ever watch it in the daily, it's fucking shite. And League One's not any. The League One's not any much better. You know, the Championship, even I would argue, is not that fucking good either. And they've got loads of much more money than us. But that's a different debate for a different day. So I think it's time to play for League 2. I don't think he's got to come in and be a superstar. We've sold players to League 2 that we thought was shite, and they've went and fucking top scored the league. Right?
Aye.
You know, like James Collins and fucking Clayton Donaldson and that went down there. Owen Doyle, they're fucking superstars down there in the leagues, and they were just all right here, or in some cases, not that fucking all right. And they went down there and banged them in. It's no. And I'm sure there's other stats, other ways that they've come up for League 2 and been. Like Van Dien probably came from fucking a shite team down there, and he's done all right up here. As much as I think he's not that fucking good.
Aye, he's I think I can't take time at all. I think he's shite, and he's got 20 goals this season. So you would have to say,
is he?
I think that's what they said was to go up to 20 for the season. But then we hit a free kick like that goes through the goalkeeper, and that's one of his goals. The penalty. Aye.
Christian Royce really finishing.
Aye, that's it. If you can't be lucky, or you can't be good, be lucky. That one of those ones. Part Fry's image said, Marshall, does he have any realistic competition for his place? Sold 2 goals today, but we'll know he's playing at United next weekend. And Jago is not the player you want on the pitch when you're chasing the game. Not his problem. The coaches who didn't sub him are to blame.
Aye, who would you have brought on though? Because he's had to take the days off for the booking, I assume. And the Marshall one, I was speaking on the way out. It was like, when do you put the laddie in? And it is only the laddie. And then my brother was like, just bring fucking Dabrowski back to the end of the season. Like, you can't do that, obviously, because transfer windows and all that. Because it's like, we've not got any option, It's like, you play that, you chuck the laddie in, but we've still got something to play for.
Aye.
But then, like, is that a hindrance? Is that a good thing you chuck him in? But then, like, we see what we're like with goalies. We'd fucking ruin that laddie's career before the end of the season's out.
Aye, I don't think any manager anywhere in the, well, maybe the way, but fucking like you go across British football, when you've got David Marshall, even in the form that he's in, where you'd be saying take him out of the team for the running, for like the important business end of the season, where you'd be saying we're going to play the laddie and give him a chance at this point. There's no way. There's no way that's going to happen. It
No.
is a problem. I mean, we let Schofield go in January.
Yeah.
And again, whether he was agitating for a move or if he had something else lined up that merited it. But to let him go and Dabrowski go and then rely on Murray Johnson as being our
He was
backup.
highly rated and all that.
Yes.
But we've seen it before when Andy McNeil was highly rated as well. Like he was when he was in the Scotland youth teams and all that, and I made a couple of mistakes and hounded the cunt. And that's what well, that's what we're doing with Marshall. I know the difference is he's at the end of his career rather than the start of it.
Aye.
I mean,
Marshall,
goalies when they're just all right as well. Like a goalie needs to come in and be fucking special, or they're going to get hammered because we're totally affected by that period of goalies we had when Mowbray and that were here.
Aye.
Like we can't get over it.
The other thing I would say is Marshall's probably had periods like this in his career before as well. There's no way he's got to the age that he's at in the game and no had a run where he's been like, fucking hell, for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks where I've chucked one in or two in. And he's shown that he's had the results to kind of bounce back through it. So there maybe is an argument that he just kind of persevere with him as well through to the end of the season, but I think we would need to replace. Jeff Ashton said, it doesn't matter what formation you play when you have Marsh, Lewis, JDH, Jago, CJ, Campbell, Nizzy, and to a lesser example, Hoppy, all off the pace or never on it in the first place. However, in my opinion, 5-3-2 against Motherwell was wrong. We changed to 4-2-3-1 after 30 minutes, but this goes on to another tweet. But we didn't have the right personnel on the pitch. Why not make the subs then? Why wait until half time? He did it against the Huns months ago. Last point, if your keeper is having a mare, you're generally fucked anyway. Disappointing day all round.
Yeah, it was quite a defensive lineup really. And it's interesting he switched it to a 5-3-2 because obviously we all go 3-5-2, don't we? But he's right because it's two fullbacks in the wide. It's not attack. It's not like you've got Boyle out there and the 3-5-2. It is a 5-3-2 really. It just you've got two defensive minded players in midfield.
Yeah.
How many more have we got? We've still got fucking loads of them.
Let's have a look. We've got a handful left. We could probably fire through because we've covered quite a lot already. What we're done for time. We're all right. About having players off the pace, we could carry one, maybe two players on a bit of an off game if we're lucky to. Most weeks, but if you've got as many we're off it on Saturday, we've no chance at this level. No chance.
And it depends what the other team are like, because if they've got one or two off the pace as well, then you would expect us to still, and we've got one or two, that's fine. It's just a poorer game, and we'd still expect to come out. But that's like when you play the big teams in the league, you're going and saying, well, we all need to be on our game. Hopefully, a handful of them or 2 or 3 of them are off their game, and that's what happens. Like Motherwell will be fucking. They'd been saying that yesterday, and they've come up and we've got 11 off the game. Like, fucking happy days.
I mean, they were saying it's so fucking easy, and it was easy for them yesterday. Sharon McGrew thinks she made that up. Said, I think most folk thought it would be a banker today. LG as well, by the look of things. But Motherwell have been going well under Kettlewell, so 1 or 2 expected us dropping points today. With Yuan back, I still think 7 points out of remaining games before the split should see us top 6. I think 7 points would be enough as well, to be fair. Are we there yet? Said, today was like being served a shite sandwich with extra shite, garnished with shite sprinkles. The side salad is shite and shite flavoured crisps. I've seen them play worse though.
By the way, I think we need less than 7 to make top 6. Like we're a point ahead of Livingston. There's 3 games left. So they need to win all 3. Like to even yeah. So it's got to be less than 7 we need to make top 6.
Aye, but who's below Livingston though?
Well, everybody else. Motherwell and that. Like they can still catch us technically as well.
Aye, but they would need to win all their games too. But yeah.
Aye, because they've got less than that. So it's like So 7 we need 7 to beat. If we get 7, we're fucking talking about third place again.
We will be. Disco Stew said Jago, JDH and Campbell are terrible footballers. So I think they were terrible yesterday.
I think it's unfair, aye.
I don't think they're terrible footballers. Like Jago, I think has been one that everybody liked, or most folk liked when he first came in, gave us a bit of solidity in the midfield that we've been lacking. There's always been that question mark about his.
It's the Matty Jack, Martin Bartley role, isn't it?
Aye,
like that's it. And they were never great fucking footballers either. Like you can accept that, but you need footballers in there with him, and there wasn't yesterday.
Jake Doyle Hayes, another one that probably splits opinion. I think personally, I've never really seen it well. I think he's all right. I think he'll have a good game, but he'll have another game like yesterday. And Campbell was the worst that he's been since last
Campbell's
season.
got to be player of the year this
Yesterday.
season. That's so. You could spin that one, I suppose, into saying, well, that fucking the story, but he's been the best player. He's been the best player this season consistently.
Aye. MK said Marshall out of the town the night before. Did look like it? 150k in Hanlon Hill. Can we nickname LJ the Stinker Man? So, like, what was it? Ranieri is the Tinker Man, doesn't he? But he tends to win. Yeah. Neil Renton says we might not be a football team, but surely we'd be great in mastermind with our inability to pass. Could be on to something there, Neil. JPJ White said Motherwell wanted it more. Absolutely, like I think we covered that as well.
Shocking. That's terrible, that, by the way, really.
It's inexcusable.
That's
always like
when like that's what we said though. They've got none. They're probably safe for relegation now, really. Like even the playoff, and they're not going to make the top six, so they're playing for fuck all. Like they're playing for I don't know, $100,000 or something for the club, but the players aren't because they're not going to have a bonus for finishing 8th or 7th.
Gaza said they're talking about competing with the Old Firm when they can't even compete with the Motherwell, Livingston, and Ross counties of the world. It's ridiculous.
Really, weekend is fucking. You can't.
Did you on that topic? Because we've got to cover that before we finish off. Robbie Nielsen was talking about Aberdeen and Motherwell, or Aberdeen Hibs are chasing for third, but we're going like above that. Going for like he said it when there were 28 points behind, 27 points available.
Aye, can't count.
Fucking.
I know
they are mental though, like
aggressively boring. Sort of chat,
Aye, mental. Like, I mean, coming out, he's like 3 or 4 defeats on the spin as well, or 4 defeats in 5 games or something, and he's still talking about fucking getting second place and how it's not acceptable at Hearts, and fucking just full of shite. John Mitchell said the manager doesn't know how to set the team up correctly and get the best out of the squad. We've had loads of weeks.
That's sometimes.
It is a streaky thing. I mean, there's weeks where we'll be talking about how he's got the team playing well, and then even last week when we got beat, everybody was moaning about the performance. Like it was all like we did well, we were a bit hard done to. And, anyway, right. Cha said wrong starting 11 from LJ. Can he not just pick the strongest available? Marshall's positioning for the free kicks. The wee monkey covering his eyes emoji. Big chance to keep the pressure on for third spot, slipping away on that performance. I totally agree. That it's just a killer because we could have been. Imagine how different this podcast would have been the day if we were 2 points behind them. Well, I win yesterday. We've gone fucking. It's on. Can I get to the derby? Let's win next week. Is the night get to the derby? We could be in front of them going into it. Fucking hell. So frustrating.
That's what we were saying last week on the fucking extra time.
Aye, so frustrating. And last one is from Martin Wilson. Said formation wrong, personnel wrong, attitude was terrible. Back to the drawing board because that was unacceptable. Thought Miller was a dead cert to start and perfect opportunity to play Cadden wide right in a front three where he wouldn't have to defend as much. That's a good shout as well, to be fair. Like Miller was good last week.
I know, and I've seen a couple of folks saying that, but then I thought, but he's playing. Like Miller came in as a defensive right back, whereas we were playing a 3-5-2, so the fullback was meant to be it was maybe a 3-5-2 rather than a 5-3-2. If it was a 5-3-2, you'd maybe play Miller, but if it's a 3-5-2, you'd maybe go Cadden because he's more attacking.
Aye.
That's why I didn't complain about that at the time.
No, I didn't care, but I think in hindsight, it's fair enough, right? Anyway, right, on to taking the piss out of Hearts will be right, and even though we got beat, there's always room if I can take the piss out of the cunts, right? We are happy to accept that. So Robbie Nielsen, this is in the Daily Record Sport, they put a tweet out, and it's one of these clickbait ones, where it says, Robbie Nielsen addresses Hearts Boo Boys and names 3 questions his players should be asking themselves. So we asked folks to kind of say, right, what would those questions be? Musby, 1875, where's my hair gone? Kaiser Soze, 3 questions. Is Shankland's forehead causing an unnecessary distraction? When will the next banner fly over Tynecastle? And will they ever live up to Nielsen's post-match explanations? They're ripe for a banner soon, eh?
Mm.
The way it's going.
Yeah, they were booing them yesterday, and then they were on the radio. The radio do a phone in there, like some sort.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard it.
Five. It's like a Twitter Spaces. But no, it's not quite. But they do have they had Sanjeev Kohli in that one yesterday, and a Hearts fan phoned in and it was just like basically saying, Nielsen should shut the fuck up. Stop talking about being a bit club and all that, believe it or not.
Aye, good on him. That must have been a habit to wind up, eh? Mikey Stewart said, who let Hibs win the big cup? What does the back of Anne Budge's head look like? And why is the Tynecastle atmosphere the biggest myth in Scottish football? Davy Fallon's, how much does it cost to fly a banner over Tynecastle? Kev Wilson, does my hair transplant look good? That's in line with, does my bum look good in this, or look big in this for the fast show, eh? Katie said, have the Horny Hearts rebranded as the Hearts Boo Boys in a desperate attempt to stay relevant? Isla said, have you ever seen the penguins at Edinburgh Zoo after dark? And do you think the penguins know karate like the ones in Madagascar? And do you think I could pass as a penguin if beating Hibs doesn't save my job this time? Robbie Nielsen as a penguin? Is there a scope in that?
Aye. Yep. Once he gets his hair sorted, I don't know.
You could get it done like one of the big fucking emperor penguins, eh?
I think his hair's better, by the way, just on that. I think he's better since he shaved it off. It's much better than that wispy sort of comb over thing.
Aye.
He's manned up, if you like to say that now.
Are there no raging that he's taking time out of the season to go and get the transplant done? Or has he had the transplant done? You have to shave it off to get the transplant done.
Yeah.
You see, what's the boy McGowan at Dundee that had awful... you shouldn't have, it's no nice to talk about folks' appearance and everything, but fuck it. Ken, his was terrible, but McGowan's hair was terrible. And
maybe I spoke to Matt Boyle about that.
Aye. And he shaved it off, and Boyle had to do it too. Went for skinhead and then get the transplant done. Anyway, Tony Swanson said, why don't the fans like me? Would it help if I get around in? Should I grow my hair again? Ryan says, does blood show in a maroon shirt? What about burgundy? Purple? Freddie, has anyone ever won McDee's Monopoly? Have you ever seen the documentary about that? The Monopoly swindle?
I think I have. Yeah, I have watched that, I'm sure. Quite
interesting. Why do people pay to go up tall buildings only to look back down again through binoculars? They were literally just there. Fair point. And finally, why does Sally sell seashells on the seashore when you can just pick them up yourself?
Aye. Well, I think Freddie's rescued that section.
That he has. There's a couple more before we go. Charlie McGrew thinks he made up. Says, is it physically possible for Shanklin to do the after 8 forehead challenge, or would it be evaporate to nothing before it hits his first worry line? If Hibs said they were going to do this and that, what the fuck did Kelly just do to us? And do Nits really go for clean hair? Because mine's is mock it. William Turner, like this one, general knowledge, what's the capital of Peru? And JPG White, will we do this? Will we do that? Will we do this or that? Lex Loafer, the Hearts players will be asking themselves, how come the gaffer still looks like the local bin man, no matter what snazzy gear his mum's bought for him? What was playing the sniper's dream in midfield all about? And will we all chip in for the plane this time? Very good, guys. Right, keep your tweets and that coming to us. I can't remember what I was going to say. Going to go and record Extra Time next. So if you're a subscriber, and you can subscribe by going on our Twitter and clicking the wee link in the profile, £3 a month, you get all our content for that. Thanks for sending in your stuff. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in 10